Hello students, in this video we are going to study the remaining exercise for chapter 4. The chapter name is Heat, class 7, subject science. So before starting those exercises, let me recall what we had learned in this chapter. So we had seen that the degree of hotness or coldness of any object is called its temperature. And whether an object is hot or cold, you can say it by its temperature, by measuring its temperature. And we can increase the temperature of a substance by giving a heat to that substance. And we can decrease the temperature of that substance by absorbing the heat from that substance. Then we had learned about the instrument which is used to measure the temperature of an object and different kind of that instrument. So the instrument to measure the temperature of an object is called the thermometer. And the thermometer that measures our body temperature is called a clinical thermometer or doctor's thermometer. Then we had seen the range for this clinical or doctor's thermometer. So the thermometer that measures our body temperature is called a clinical thermometer that we had already seen. So the range for this kind of thermometer is 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. And in Fahrenheit scale, it's from 94 degree Fahrenheit to 108 degree Fahrenheit. The normal temperature of the human body that we had seen, that is 37 degrees Celsius, that is the in degrees Celsius scale, and in Fahrenheit scale it's 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. Then we had seen another type of thermometer, that is laboratory thermometer. So the thermometer which is used in laboratory is known as the laboratory thermometer. And the range of this thermometer is usually from minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. The another kind of thermometer is also there. The thermometer which is used to measure the maximum and minimum temperature of the day is known as the maximum minimum thermometer. Then we had seen one construction in clinical thermometer. So in clinical thermometer there is a kink, or you can say constriction, near the bulb of mercury. And this kink or your constriction prevents the mercury level from falling down on its own. Then we had seen different methods for the transfer of heat. So the heat flows from the body which is at the higher temperature to a body which is at the lower temperature. And that is why hot tea becomes cold, due to the flowing of heat in the atmosphere. The another example of this is on heating one end of an aluminium rod with the flame of a candle. Heat flows from its nearer end to the far off end. And the process of transfer of heat from the hot end of a solid object towards the cold end is known as the conduction. Then we had seen some example in which the heat is transferred by this method of conduction. So the solid substance like metals become hot due to the process of conduction. Then we had seen conductors or insulators of heat. So the substance through which conduction of heat take place easily are called good conductors of heat. The example of this kind of substance or objects are metals like copper, silver, aluminium, iron, etc. are good conductors of heat. And the materials which do not allow heat to pass through them easily are called poor conductors of heat or insulators. The example of insulators are wood, plastic, ebonite, leather, wool, glass, rubber, etc. are the poor conductors of heat. So this is the first method of transfer of heat, that is conduction. Now next method is convection. So on heating the vessel containing water, water gets heated in the vessel. This mode of transfer of heat is known as the convection in the water. And in liquid and gaseous substance gets heated by the mode of transfer of heat called convection. but we had seen another or one exception is there, that is in mercury. So mercury is a liquid substance, and even though it gets heated by the mode of transfer of heat called conduction. Then we had seen about land bridge and sea bridge, in which the heat get transfer or transfer of heat take place by this convection method. So in coastal region, sea bridge during the daytime and land bridge during the night time occurs due to the convection. And from the sun, heat comes to us by the process known as the radiation. So this is the third way to transfer of heat, that is radiation. And from the sun, heat comes to us by this process radiation. And the transfer of heat by this radiation process does not require any medium. Then we had seen some facts about dark color object and white color object. So dark color objects absorb radiation better than the light color objects. And this is the reason why we feel more comfortable in light color objects or light color clothes in this summer season. And then we had seen fact about the wool. We had seen wool is the insulator of heat. So woolen clothes keep us warm during the winter season, and it is because wool is a poor conductor of heat and it has air trapped in between the fibers of wool. And then we had seen normally heat is more absorbed by black color objects as compared to the white color objects. So this is the things that we have learned from this chapter. So now let we start our remaining exercise. In the previous video we had seen in extra exercise to choose the correct options, fill in the blanks, answer in one word, true false, and one sentence, answer in one sentence. So now let we continue with the next exercise, that is question 6a, define. So next question is define the following. In that first definition is temperature. So the degree of hotness or coldness of an object is called its temperature. This is the definition of temperature. The degree of hotness or coldness of any object is known as its temperature. The next definition is good conductors of heat. So the materials which allow heat to pass through them easily and speedily are called as the good conductors of heat. The materials which allow heat to pass through them easily, so those kind of materials are known as the good conductors of heat. Next question or next definition is bad conductors of heat. Third number. So the definition is the materials which do not allow heat to pass through them easily are called bad conductors of heat. So we had also seen this kind of examples. So wool, wood, plastic, glass. So these are the bad conductors, or you can say insulators of heat. These materials do not allow heat to pass through them easily. That's why they are known as the bad conductors of heat. Now next question, question 6b, is select the odd one out. In that first one, iron, aluminium, copper and wool. So the answer is wool. Wool is the poor conductor, or you can say insulator of the heat. Rest of the example or rest of the name, that is iron, aluminium, copper, these materials are the good conductors of heat. So here odd one out is wool. Next is second number, conduction, convection, radiation and thermometer. So your answer is thermometer. The rest of the three, that is conduction, convection and radiation, so these are the ways for the transfer of heat, different ways for the transfer of heat, whereas thermometer is the instrument which is used to measure the temperature. So here odd one out is thermometer. The third number is wood, wool, plastic, air and iron. So here your answer is iron. The rest of the name, that is wood, wool, plastic and air, these are the poor conductors, or you can say insulators of heat, and iron is the good conductor of heat, so odd one out is the iron. So your answer is iron. So here the question 6b gets over, that is odd one out. Now next question is question number 7. Answer the following questions in short. This can be asked in 2 marks question answer. So in this first question is, note whether the following substances are hot or cold. The name of the substance are given to you, that is ice cream, cup of tea, ice water, that means water which is made or prepared by the melting of the ice. Next is stone placed in sunlight, and wet clothes and ice. So let me start now. First one, that is ice cream, so it is cold. Next is cup of tea, so obviously it is the hot substance. Next is ice water, it is made from the ice, so it is cold substance. Next is stone placed in the sunlight. As you put any object in the sunlight, or we are standing in the sunlight, we are getting heat from the sun, so the stone is hot substance which is placed in the sunlight. Next is wet clothes. So as it is wet, these substance are, or this material are cold materials. And last one, that is ice, so it is cold. Here the answer is given to you. In the first column the substance name given to you, and in the next column whether the substance is hot or cold is written. First in that ice cream, that is cold. Next is cup of tea, it is hot. Next is ice water, so it is cold. Next is stone which is placed in the sunlight, so it is hot. Next is wet clothes, as it is wet, so this is cold. And last one is ice, so it is also cold substance. So this is the answer for first question. Now next question, second number. List at least 3 precautions that should be taken while using thermometer. What precautions should we take or should be taken by us while we are taking the measurement using the thermometers? So the following precautions must be taken while using clinical thermometer. In that first one is, always wash the thermometer with an antiseptic solution before and after use. As we are measuring, or we are using most of the time this thermometer to measure the temperature of the patient, so we should always wash the thermometer with an antiseptic before and after of its use. Next is, hold it firmly from the opposite end of the mercury side, and give it few jerks to bring the level of mercury below the 35 degrees Celsius. We have to hold this thermometer from the opposite side of the mercury bulb. We should not hold the thermometer from the mercury bulb, but we have to hold the thermometer from the opposite side of the mercury bulb. And before using this thermometer, we have to give some jerks to this thermometer to bring the mercury level below 35 degrees Celsius. Then and after then, you will get the precise reading. And last one, do not hold the thermometer by the bulb, that we had already seen. We should not hold the thermometer by the bulb, as you will find the variation in the temperature if you will hold the thermometer by the bulb. So these 3 precautions should be taken while using the thermometer. That is, you have to wash the thermometer with antiseptic before and after use. You have to hold the thermometer carefully from the opposite end of the mercury side, and before use you have to give few jerks to this thermometer, or you have to shake the thermometer to bring down the mercury level below the 35 degrees Celsius, and you should not hold the thermometer by the bulb. Next, third number question. So the question is, write the procedure to measuring your body temperature with the help of a clinical thermometer. We have to write the process how we will measure our body temperature with the help of clinical thermometer. So first step, On a clinical thermometer, note the temperature difference indicate between two big marks and also note the number of divisions between these two bigger marks. We have to measure or indicate the difference between two big marks, and then after we have to count the number of small divisions which are there between these two marks. Then after, now wash the clinical thermometer with an antiseptic solution that we had seen. The next is hold it firmly and give it few jugs to bring the level of mercury below the 35 degrees Celsius. Then after, place the bulb of the thermometer under your tongue for 1 minute. You have to place this thermometer under your tongue, and which part you have to put in your mouth? So you have to put the bulb below your tongue or under your tongue. Next is, after 1 minute, take out the thermometer from your mouth and note the reading, which is the temperature of your body. So after 1 minute you can find the reading on the thermometer which represent the temperature of your body. So this is the different steps to measure the body temperature with the help of clinical thermometer. First you have to note the temperature difference between two bigger marks, and then after you have to note or you have to count the divisions that is present in between these two marks. Then after you have to wash the clinical thermometer within antiseptic solution. Then after you have to hold this carefully and you have to give the jugs to bring the mercury level down below the 35 degrees Celsius. Then you can use this thermometer. So now then after you have to place the bulb of this thermometer under your tongue for 1 minute, and after 1 minute you can take out the thermometer from your mouth and you can note or you can find the reading which is the temperature of your body. So this is how you can measure the temperature of your body with the help of clinical thermometer. Next, fourth number questions is, what are the precautions needed while measuring the temperature of a substance using laboratory thermometer? Earlier we had seen precautions for the clinical thermometer. So now what are the precautions for the laboratory thermometer? So in that first one is, the thermometer should be kept upright, not tilted. You have to keep the thermometer upright, that means straight. It should not be tilted or bent. Next is, bulb should be surrounded from all sides by the substance of which the temperature is to be measured. Now the bulb of this thermometer should be surrounded by the substance or the substance of which you want to measure the temperature. The substance that you taken to measure the temperature, that should be surrounded, or the thermometer bulb should be surrounded by that substance. Next precaution is, temperature must be read when the thermometer is in contact with the substance. When your thermometer is in the substance or surrounded by the substance, at that time only you have to read the thermometer or the reading of the thermometer. Next precaution is, the bulb should not touch the surface of the container. As we had seen, the thermometer bulb should be surrounded by the substance of which you want to measure the temperature. So the bulb should not touch the surface of the container. And then next is, the temperature in the thermometer has to be measured by keeping the eye parallel to the scale mark on the thermometer. You have to measure the temperature of thermometer by keeping the eye parallel or in front of the scale which is marked on the thermometer. So this precaution should be taken while taking the reading with the help of the laboratory thermometer. So in that first one you have to see that your thermometer is straight, not tilted. Then after, the bulb should be surrounded from all the sides by the substance from which or the substance to which you want to measure the temperature. Then the temperature must be read with the help of thermometer when the thermometer is in contact with this substance, then after a bulb should not touch the surface of the container, and the temperature of thermometer has to be read or has to be taken by keeping your eye parallel to the scale which is marked on the thermometer. So these are the precautions. Now next question, fifth number. Before using clinical thermometer, why few jerks are given to it? Why we are saying that in precaution you have to give few jerks to the thermometer in clinical thermometer? So the answer is given here. In the clinical thermometer, there is a kink, or you can say constriction, just above the mercury bulb. You will find this kind of structure in the thermometer above the mercury bulb. And hence in the thermometer, mercury remains at that level which is previously measured. Because of this kink, mercury remains at the level. Suppose if you had previously measured or previously read the temperature of 37 degrees Celsius, then when you will go for the another reading, because of this kink, the mercury level will remain at this 37 degrees Celsius only. So now to measure the new temperature, the mercury must be brought down below the 35 degrees Celsius. Otherwise it will show the 37 degrees Celsius or wrong reading, so that the actual or new temperature can be measured, and for this purpose few jerks are given to the thermometer. So this is why we are giving jerks to the clinical thermometer, because there is a kink like structure and which brings the which keeps the mercury bulb at the above the level or at the previous reading. So for the new reading of the temperature, we should give the jerks to this clinical thermometer to bring the mercury level down or below from the 35 degrees Celsius, so that we can measure the actual temperature of the second time. So this is why we are giving jerks to the clinical thermometer. Now next question, sixth number. Explain conduction in solid substance. Conduction process, or the process of transfer of heat in the solid substance. So the process by which the heat is transferred from hotter end to the cooler end of the solid, or you can say metal, is called the conduction. First, what is conduction? So the process by which the heat is transferred from hotter end, or the end which is at the higher temperature, to the colder end, that means the end which is at the lower temperature of a solid or metal, whichever whatever you had taken. So this process is known as the conduction. Now when solid substance is heated at one end, the molecules of that part do not change their original position, but they oscillate, or you can say they vibrate with more frequency and more amplitude. They will vibrate and about their respective mean position, and then neighboring molecules get affected through the intermolecular forces prevailing in the substance. Okay, so when you are heating the solid substance at from the one end, the molecule solid substance is made up of small particles which we cannot see from the naked eye. So this kind of particles are known as the smallest unit of this solid substance is known as the molecule. So the molecules which are present at that part or that end of the solid substance, they started vibrating, or you can say they oscillate, and they will not move from this their original position, but they started vibrating with the frequency. That means they started vibrating faster and from about respective mean position. That means from that position they started vibrating around them, and they affect their neighboring molecules. They affect the molecules which are present in surrounding them. So also they get affected by the forces, or you can say the force which is act is known as the intermolecular force. By these forces they also start vibrating. So now these molecules transfer their effect to the other nearby molecules. So this is how if the one molecule start vibrating, that will give the effect to the neighboring molecule, and this is how this effect is transferred to one molecule to other rest of the molecules, and in this way the heat is transferred from one part of the molecule to the neighboring part of the molecule, and thus reaches at the other end of the substance, and at the end this molecule vibration reaches to the end of part of this solid substance. So this is how the heat is get transferred from solid substance by this process of conduction. When we are heating solid substance from one end, the molecules which are present at that end, they are starting oscillating, or you can say vibrating with the frequency and amplitude, or you can say faster, and they are transferring this effect to their neighboring molecules. So this is how one by one they are passing this effect to their neighboring molecule, and at the end this effect will reach to the end point of the solid substance. So this is how the heat is transferred in the solid due to this process of conduction. Now next question is, explain convection in liquids. So we had seen conduction, how the conduction take place. Now how this convection is take place. So convection is the mode of heat propagation in which heat moves from one place to another by actual motion of material particles. So now the convection is a mode of heat, or in this mode of transfer of heat is spread and moves from one place to another by the motion of the material particles, in which we are getting the heat, or we are giving the heat. The particles, or through that particles, the heat is moving from one place to another place. And when liquid is heated from below or from the lower part, you are starting the giving the heat to the liquid of that part expand, and therefore its density decreases, and such a light liquid rises up, and the object whose density is lower, they will go upside or upwards. So such a light liquid rises up, and the cold liquid, that is heavier liquid, or you can say the liquid which density is higher, that moves down towards the source of heat, and this liquid also become hot and rises, and the liquid from the sides moves down, and this process continues till the whole liquid gets heated. So this process we had seen in that example or convection in liquid, in which we had seen the heating or boiling of water, and in that we had added the potassium permanganate, so that we can see clearly with the help of the color of that potassium permanganate. So as we had seen, in the liquid the heat gets transferred by the one place, by the particles of that material, so you can say by the particles of water from one place to the another place. And in that, when we are starting to give the heat from the below side of that beaker, so the liquid which is present at that part, that gets heated, and its density, so it becomes lighter, or it expands, and density decreases, or the materials whose density is lower, they will go upward side. So this kind of liquid will rises up, and the cold liquid whose density is higher, that will go downside, and the liquid which are present in the surrounding parts from the both of the side, that also went down, and this is how this process continues till the whole liquid gets heated. So this is how the convection process occur in the liquids. Now next question number 8 is, how does heat come towards us from the sun, and how does we receive heat from the sun? Or you can say the third way of the transfer of heat, that is radiation. So how this is occur? So when we come out in the sun, we feel warm, and heat cannot reach us by the conduction or convection, because there is no material medium such as air in most of the part of the space between the earth and sun, and therefore heat comes to us by the process called radiation from the sun, and it can take place whether a medium is present or not. So this is how the heat transfer take place from sun to earth. So as in between sun and earth in this space there is no such medium, so that's why the conduction and convection process does not take place, because they require medium to transfer the heat. But radiation does not require any medium, so by this process of radiation heat transfer to take place between the sun and earth, and this is how we are feeling hot when we come, or we are feeling warm when we come outside in the sun. Next question, 9 number. Why does a tile floor feels colder than the wooden floor, and when you walk on it with barefoot? So that means when you are walking on wooden floor without your footwear, you will feel colder as compared to the tile floor. Or when you are walking in this kind of floor, the tile floor feels colder and wooden floor as compared to the wooden floor. So why this is so? So tiles are good conductors of heat as compared to wood. So we had seen wood is the insulator of heat, and when you walk on a tile floor it conducts a large amount of heat from your barefoot and you will feel cool. It will conduct, or it will transfer the heat from your foot to the atmosphere or to the other object, and you will feel cool. And on the contrary, wood is not a good conductor of heat and it conducts only a small amount of heat. So a tile floor feels colder and than the wooden floor, even though both are at the same temperature. As the tile floor is good conductor of heat, it will carry heat from your feet to the other environment or in the atmosphere. So we will feel cool in the tile floor, and wood is the insulator, or you can say poor conductor of heat, so it can only carry small amount of heat, so it cannot transfer the heat from your foot to the atmosphere. So you will feel warmer when these both floor are at the same temperature. You will feel cooler or colder in the tile floor. So here our short question answer gets over. So in this video we had seen definitions, select the odd one out, and short answer type question answers. So in the homework you have to write question 6A and B, that is definition, define the following, and select the odd one out. You will find this file in your study material. You should not have to write this question answer, short answer type question in your notebook. You have to write only question 6A and 6B. In the next video, we will see scientific reasons, then after differences and the rest of the exercise for this chapter. Thank you.